Hello and welcome back to another video. This is your Tottenham versus West Ham United preview. I am Mike, so I'm a West Ham fan. And yeah, this is long. This is just long. Long day, man. I'm not looking forward to this, but before I get into that, make sure to like and subscribe if you are new. Thank you for the support as of recently. And yeah, let's get into it. Tottenham have won in their last four. They have lost to Chelsea, Wolves, Aston Villa, and they drew to Manchester City. A lot of positives that they can take from the Villa Manchester City game, maybe not so much from the Wolves game. They could probably also take positives from the Chelsea game. It's just Udogie and is it Udogie? That you pronounce it? Udogie and Romero both had head loss that game, and Christian Romero is back for our game, which I don't know if it's a negative or positive, to be honest with you, because he has his head loss moments and he's probably more of a calming influence next to Van de Ven, even though he went mad in the Chelsea game. But he is a good centre-back. He is a good centre-back. Like, I wouldn't put him in top tier of the Premier League. I'd put him in the tier below. He's a good centre-back and he'll be back for us. He'll probably play alongside Ben Davies because Emerson Royale was really, really shit. Pedro Porro and yeah, Udogie will probably make their back four. And without Van de Ven, but let's talk about them three and Van de Ven. Them as a back four has been a big reason why they've done so well this season. Van de Ven and Maddison, probably their two best players this season. And I know Son's got the goals, but if I'm looking at the influence that they've brought, they've been two of the signings of the season, and they have probably been the main reasons why Tottenham are doing what they are doing. Same with Vicario in goal. Like, there's a lot of players you can compliment. Bissouma's form hasn't been good of recent, but Bissouma in general, like, people were like, oh, I didn't see how good Bissouma was. Well, it was just common sense to know that Antonio Conte was the reason why he wasn't doing so well last season, because he was playing him in a fucking 5-2-3 double pivot where you had to sit back in a 5-4-1. And you saw under Graham Potter at Brighton where he was playing his best football. That's why he got the move to Tottenham. He was that good. Like, it didn't surprise me that he was going to be the starter. Like, they wasn't going to play fucking Højbjerg in front of him. And that's another player that's dipped for Tottenham as of recent, is Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. I really liked him when he was at Southampton. I thought he was actually alright under Mourinho, but under Conte, he wasn't good, and he hasn't been good of recent either. I really wish they would play Eric Dyer this game, because he's god-awful, and he's nearly been there for 10 years. Then again, scored in his debut, did he, for Tottenham against West Ham. I was at that game, unfortunately. But we go into this game, and this is the game where Tottenham fans like to comment about cup final. Obviously, since then, we've won a cup final, and they haven't in the last 15 years. So it's a bit of a touchy subject for them. And they had the audacity to call it a shit trophy when, again, 15 years. But if we're putting that to the side, I have no hope for this game. I don't know what people want me to expect. I'm not gonna. I know no one likes being negative for their club. Whoever you support, no one wants to be negative, but we just say it how we see it. You know, like, I'm not going to give you false positivity. I actually don't know a West Ham fan that will give you false positivity as it on a YouTube channel. To be quite honest, I think we're one of the few fan bases that will actually give you realism most of the time. But I'm sure there's false positive West Ham fans. I just don't know any of them. We haven't got. I've said this in the Crystal Palace aftermath video that was released on Monday that you can go and check out. Our record at White Hart Lane, or whatever the fuck it's called now, is very overstated. Like, the last time we got points there was the Lanzini 3-3. And before that we lost. But the last time we won there was the first time we played at the new stadium, when Antonio dry-humped their team. And we won 1-0. And they didn't have Harry Kane that game. And I think Lucas was playing up front or something. That was the year they made the Champions League final. Their manager has been amazing for them. I know there was a lot, and I mean a lot of prop. I've never seen this much prop for a manager ever. Like, for a manager that isn't like mainstream, I've never seen this much prop ever. But I will say it is deserved. Like, a lot of the prop, I will say. I'll say some of it has gone too far recently. I'll say from the Chelsea game onwards, they're treating him like the same way they did Bielsa, but they're giving it a go. 9 men on a halfway line. No, like when you got 9 men, you sit back and do some more stuff. But like, because they still could have actually won that game. Like Chelsea don't break down teams. Like, I know it sounds crazy. Like they could have won that game, but you know how long it took for Chelsea to even break down their fucking high line. Like it was mad. It wasn't a 4-1 game. That was probably one of the best games in the Premier League era for the last 10 years, at least. Because that was just action packed. Like you couldn't take your eyes off that game. But at the same time, Tottenham did go to Wolves and lose. They didn't play completely high up that game. They went to Aston Villa, or no, they faced Aston Villa at their ground and lost. And you can tell that in certain games that their injuries are hindering them a lot. Shock. It hinders every team with injuries, but a lot of teams are suffering with injuries, especially this season. But at the same time, you can see players are still trying to step up. Like Ben Davies is not a centre back, but he's also not a terrible player. But he's not good enough to start in, week out. He's that guy. He's that guy who literally someone's got a 1-game suspension. You put Ben Davies in, then he fucks off. He's that kind of player. But it doesn't matter who Tottenham have and who Tottenham will play in their team. We are fucked because we're going to play the exact same team. And maybe Kurt Zuma's back. Obviously, Kurt Zuma with the whole robbery at his house. It's not very nice to hear, is that? But he's back in training, all smiles again. So hopefully everything's all right. And there's a 25k reward for some shit that West Ham have put on. It feels like I'm living in a fucking East London gangster film. But hopefully he's all right. Mavropanos will probably get dropped if Zuma's okay, and probably should be after that mistake he made on against Palace. And I'll give Mavropanos a chance, but he's not even facing the way he's passing, so it didn't make sense to me. We need people like Vladimir Sufal to step up this game because you're putting the assists on the table, but you're not putting the performances on the table. You're getting rid of the ball. You're long balling it, and yes, it's probably an instruction by the manager. But come on, man. It's not every day running behind and all that stuff. Him and Kudus, unless Kudus is in the box and he's played on the right, like how the goal was against Palace, there's not really much chemistry there, in my opinion, unlike Sufa and Bowen, because Bowen likes to run in behind and stuff. Bowen isn't a striker, but he'll play this game, and Mubaba will sit back on the bench. Cornet won't get minutes again. Ben Rama might get minutes, you never know. Maybe Alvarez will get dropped. I can see Alvarez getting a red card in this game. It's just an Edson Alvarez thing to do. We're playing a London derby. When he came on against Chelsea, which is the other London derby that we look forward to in the Premier League, he came on and just started kicking people, which was kind of funny. But we were down to 10 men, and he actually played very well. But we can't afford any head loss this game. There's always head loss in this game. Always head loss. It always gets heated, obviously. It's West Ham Tottenham, but we always seem to lose our head very quickly. They have wind-ups on their team. Højbjerg is a wind-up. Romero is a wind-up. Pedro Porro is a wind-up. Human Son is a wind-up. As much as he doesn't look like a wind-up, he is a definite wind-up. Bro, Kurt Zuma once kicked the ball at his leg and the guy just sat on the floor. Like, he's a wind-up. Like, I'm not even complaining about that. Like, we don't do that because Moyes doesn't like the dark arts and all that. But then again, we have Paquetá who's a wind-up. Is he going to start his first West Ham Tottenham game? He was injured for the last one where we absolutely bottled it at the lane. And he came on for his debut in the 1-1 game where we drew last year. The game we should have taken our chances in and won. But we haven't beaten them in 2 years either. And this is a big game, but I don't remember the last time I just didn't get up for it. Like, excluding the one a couple of years ago at the lane where we played against Sevilla. We were very tired. I didn't give a shit about the Tottenham game. I was still happy from Sevilla. But I'm just not up for it because I know what's going to happen. It's probably going to be like a 2-0 or a 3-1. You know, them type of games where they're won by 2 goals. It's just going to be one of them games where we sit back all the time and I'm like, oh, we got attack. And the first time we attack will probably be like 80th minute, something like that. try and hit on a counter where we don't even counter anymore. Because we have players like Kudus and Pakistan that want to keep possession, but then we're not set up to keep possession because of our manager and the way we play. But yeah, it's going to be pretty much like the Burnley game, but playing against a fucking Burnley on steroids because they've got Human Son up front. I was about to say they've got Madison in the midfield. Luckily, he's injured. Luckily for us. They've still got Bissouma. They've still got Sarr. They've still got... actually, Sarr might be injured. But they've still got List. And Celso's turned up against Man City. He'll probably turn up against us. He wasn't bad against Villa either. He suited the system. He suits the system that Ange wants to play in. And I think it was his decision to keep him. They've got Brendan Johnson, who Moyes was interested in a couple of years ago. He's actually stepped in a bit, done well. Kulusevski, sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit, you know, but he's showing well in a 10 sometimes. It doesn't really matter who they play. I'm telling you, it doesn't matter. Because we're not going to turn up. And that disappoints me because I know exactly what's going to happen. I've seen this before. If you're asking me, people are going to be mad, but I put Souček on the bench, but I bring him on as a super sub. Because when we chase a game, he actually gets in the box and we instruct him to get in the box. Other than that, I don't see what he does in 90 minutes. But then again, Thomas Souček is a big game player. When you see 90 minutes performances from Souček, you see him in the big games. This guy got his whole face cut one time in a West Ham Tottenham game. Well, he always gets his face cut, to be fair, but that's Thomas Souček for you. Moving on to how the fan bases are. I want to say this. I've never said this before, but I've been thinking about it for a long time, yeah. Whenever there's a West Ham Tottenham game, it's the same thing over and over again. It's not even like in a pub anymore where you like, or like in school where you see your Tottenham and West Ham friends. It's not like that anymore. It's like, when you go online, it's the same jokes, same shit from both fan bases. It's probably one of the deadest, like, back and forth banter things you'll see. Like, it's your cup final. But you're always hyping up this game when you say it's our cup final. Like, the arguments are dead. They're still trying this cup final stuff. It's dead. Like, it's dead. Win a cup final. You know what I mean? That's it. Like, the banter between these two fan bases, including my own fan base with Tottenham fan base, it's dead now. Like, it's so boring. I don't even find Tottenham fans, like, that irritating because I find them just a bit boring with the same things they say. I find, like, Arsenal fans fucking irritating. I find Chelsea fans irritating. I find Man United fans irritating. Tottenham fans are a bit annoying. That's it. Like, the bubble will burst, pardon the pun, but the bubble will burst for them, like, because they don't back their managers to the extent that they need to be backed. And Ange is not a miracle worker, but what he can do is he can put teams to the sword. They don't score many goals, but they scored 3 against City. So when they need to score, they will score. Our defence is meant to be tight. We set up to be tight, but we've kept one clean sheet this whole fucking season. So, does anyone think we're going to get something here? Does anyone think we're going to get something at the Lane? Is it still called White Hart Lane? I still don't know. Because I just can't see it. I can't see it. Away games in the Big Six. Like, this is a West Ham thing, let alone a David Moyes thing. I think I said this in the aftermath as well. We haven't won a Big Six away game since Chelsea, where we beat Chelsea 1-0 at Stamford Bridge. That was 3 years ago. No, 4 years ago. Pellegrini was in charge. I've been through this. I've said this before. I can't see it. But I really want to see it. But I'm going to predict the lineups and then I'll end the video. So I think for them it will be Vicario, Porro, Romero, Davies, Udogie, Bissouma, Lo Celso, and I'm going to guess Kulusevski. And I'm going to say Brendan Johnson, Human Son, and I'm going to guess they might put back Richarlison for this game, because Richarlison's back. Played on the left against, when they played a 2 up front against City. Played a 4-2-4, just went for it. So I think Richarlison will play. For us, Areola, Sufal, Zuma again, Emerson, Alvarez, Ward-Prowse, and then Paquetá, Souček, Kudus, Bowen. Be the exact same team, even though it needs multiple changes. Now, if you're asking what changes I would make, I play Cornet. I play Cornet instead of Souček. That's it. that actually, is that it? Yeah, that is it. Because I would play like someone like Kera, but I think Sufal would actually be needed for this type of game. But that's just, again, just my opinion, guys. But that's the Tottenham preview. Make sure to like and subscribe if you are new. Social medias are in the description if you want to follow me, and the email for any inquiries. I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.